China had been the same for years, and then all of a sudden, they weren't. Their transition from dynastic to something new from 1839 to 1911 is one of revolutions, movements, and big things from big people. It wasn't all at once, but a lot of different things that went together to cause a new China. It all started with the Opium War of 1839, where Britain introduced opium to China, which they did not take to very well. The government tried to stop this, which ultimately ended in them losing and signing the Treaty of Nanjing, where they gave trade rights to Britain. The transition was moved forward by the Taiping Revolution. The Taiping Revolution from 1851 to 1864 is the largest uprising in modern China's history. This revolution was caused by a number of things, mostly the fact that there have been a whole bunch of natural disasters such as droughts, famines, and floods, and the Qing administration had not been very nice to the people of China and did not help them to ease the suffering that they had had by these natural disasters. The Taiping people wanted this to finally stop, along with the economic worries and the fact that they didn't even like the Qing in the first place. It meant they wanted to rebel. Now, Hong Quan, a village leader who believed that he was the brother, of Jesus, decided to take advantage of this in 1851 by leading an uprising in the Guizhou province and setting up his so-called Heavenly Kingdom of Peace. Hong Quan tried to start the dynastic cycle again, but since he was attacking the main religion of China, Confucianism, and that the West came in and stopped all that because they wanted to keep China weak and everything, his whole dream of the whole dynastic cycle starting again never came to fruition. Now, jump from the end of the Taiping Revolution, 1864 to 1898. There's a ruler named the Empress Dowager. She is the regent for her nephew, Guangzhou, who she decided was not old enough to rule, even though he has been old enough for about 20 years. Now, she is kind of a puppet emperor. The West uses her to get what they want since she's pretty weak. Now, Guangzhou, he is a strong person. He believes that China should be modernized. So, what he does is, he takes the rule from his aunt, and then he goes into reform. Now remember, this was near the end of the Sino-Japanese War, where China had been thoroughly whooped upon by Japan due to the fact that they were way more technologically advanced than they were. Now Guangzhou did not want this ever to happen again. He wanted China to be strong. So from June 11th to September 21st of 1898, 100 days of reform, he changed the social and institutional infrastructure of China for the better. Now, while all of this was going on, remember, the West and the Empress Dowager were watching, and they didn't like. The Empress Dowager probably actually would have liked that, since she was an unwilling puppet of that, but the West did not. They made her take her own nephew out of rule, get rid of all of the reforms that he did for 103 days, which were for China's own betterment, and then exiled him to an island for the rest of his life. Now that's cruel. Now, the people of China were finally fed up with all of this. The Qing administration had finally decided, no, West, we're not going to listen to what you say. So, they backed the anti-foreign ideals of a secret group called the Boxers by the Americans, because that's what they did. They boxed and burned tons of missionary houses and killed Christians all over the countryside. They were finally standing up to the West. Well, the West didn't take very kindly to that. They straight up invaded China, Beijing and Tianjin, and took place there with their armies. Now the Qing declared war against the invaders, but they were quickly defeated, because remember, they are not technologically advanced, and they were made to execute 10 of the officials, punish hundreds of the officers, pay reparation to the West for the people they killed in the missionary houses, and allow foreign troops to occupy China, which is called the Protocol of 1901. Now, introduce a man named Sun Yat-sen. Sun Yat-sen was a smart Chinese man living in America. He was sent away by Guangzhou during the 100 Days of Reform to learn more about foreign cultures and just become more learned in general. He decided that the only way to beat the foreigners was to join them. So, he told the people of China that they need to change, that they need to modernize and do all of this stuff so that they can finally be the righteous, strong China. Now, usually, When they were told to modernize, they did not respond very well to it. But since this was a Chinese guy telling him that it's for the betterment of China, and nobody else is helping anything, well, of course they're going to do it. So all of a sudden, China was a democracy, right? Well, no. Sun Yat-sen was a very smart man, as I said. Decided that if he took things slowly, it would be better. The people would have more time to acclimate. See, imagine a building. A building has a base. If you take away the base, the building falls down. Now, China's just like that building. The base is their thousands of years of traditions and ideals and beliefs. Now, he can't just take all that away at the moment. No, he has to remove it all slowly, so that the people can acclimate and get better and put in new things in its place. And since he wasn't crazy thinking he was the brother of Jesus, or he wasn't a puppet, or he wasn't going around killing Christians around the countryside, the West couldn't even step in and do anything. They had to sit back and let this one happen. So China finally got what it needed. A change came in the form of a man called Sun Yat-sen.